Okay, what's up? What's up, Sussex Squad? Let's get into it. How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are David Beckham, it looks like you throwing Harry and Meghan under the bus finally got you and your social climbing wife what y'all wished for, which was an audience of the king. Once again, King Charles is sending the message that those that ice out Harry and Meghan will be prosperous and highly favored. The only problem is, dummies, I don't listen. I'm not taking anything away from Victoria and David Beckham. I am saying that they must be what, celebrities in the UK, in the US, maybe. I'm just saying that I think Victoria Beckham and David Beckham can go about their business in New York City for the entire day, and maybe only a few people give them autographs, right? Also, y'all, they literally are saying that despite what we think, Carol Middleton isn't worth as much as everybody thinks. And I said as much as who thinks, because I always thought they were broke jokes, social climbing grifters. And it looks like I might be right. Now, listen, you can have your opinion of Carol Middleton. Actually, let's get into this report because I find it very, very interesting that everybody keeps overlooking what is the most humiliating thing. William is a billionaire. He has money in the Prince's Trust. How much is he not taking care of Kate and withholding from Kate that your mama owed $2.6 million that you can use in a write-off, and you will not give her the money to secure that? How are, as a matter of fact, the Middletons even surviving? Are they on an allowance? Now, let's just remember, right? When it comes to royal couples, that's how they keep everybody in line. Listen, Charles taught William well, and William is doing that. Think about it. Kate, no matter how much she's like giving, like, sad skeleton and whatnot, there's only so much Kate can do, because here's the thing. If Carol and Mike are pretty much bankrupt, right? And that's what they're saying, why they can't pay back all this stuff. They don't have the money. They don't have as much money as people think. Then how are they surviving? They have a grand estate. They have all these things. How are they surviving? Kate gets paid pennies for being the Princess of Wales. She has no access to the money. I'll tell you what I think's happening. The same way Charles kept Edward, Sophie, and also Andrew to a certain point in line. You support them 100%. Now, you don't give them anything grand so they can like do anything to make a life for themselves and find a way. No. You give them just enough to cover all their bills, and they have social capital, like, capital. Like, oh my God, that's the Queen's mother, blah, blah. But you literally are living paycheck to paycheck. It's just a bigger paycheck. Let's also not forget that whole shabby chic that came in from English aristos, the old worn out rugs, to this to that. That was partly because it was considered shameful to work, but they had family memory for a long time ago, but they didn't have money to maintain the estates. So shabby chic, bohemian chic came into play. I think that one of the reasons why Kate is living in Adelaide Cottage, Kate is not taking attacks at William in the media, Kate's not doing any of that stuff, is quite simple. Baby, the answer's right there. If she opens her mouth, her mama is going to be even more broke because William is keeping them on a tight leash. So get into this, right? They literally said in defense for Carol Middleton that she hasn't got the kind of money people think they have. Who thought they had money? Who? I knew. Now listen, the English people might be fooled, but I knew when I saw her at ShopRite, literally having a grand opening in ShopRite with cardboard cutters on herself for her party supply, that they was broke. And I said, this is a Ponzi scheme. I don't know how you're scheming, but it is. Anyone from America, especially the Northeast, that's even spent time there can tell you what ShopRite is about. No, don't get me wrong. ShopRite is a great supermarket, but there is nothing prestigious about it. It's not like a Wegmans or a Whole Foods or even an Irwin, right? It's ShopRite. It's almost like, I think the British equivalent would be a Tesco's mixed with a Sainsbury, but a Tesco mixed with a Sainsbury, but mostly Tesco's would be what ShopRite is. The fact that the future Queen of England's mother flew to a ShopRite in the middle of New Jersey to literally stand in an aisle and take pictures of a cut out picture of herself. I said, oh, they broke. That's what I knew. And it looks like we got companies didn't have the kind of money we think they had. Where is it? Now, here's the thing, right? Carol's trying to make it seem like it was all some big misunderstanding. If you guys don't know, people are still throwing stuff up in Berkshire, Buckleberry, wherever they live, saying you owe us money, you're a thief, you're a liar. Because at the end of the day, let's just see, this is how I understand the facts. Carol sold the company, right? But even when she was selling the company and she knew she was going to have to sell, she was going to investors and saying, hey, I think we're doing great. Can you invest in party planning? You have my personal guarantee that all monies will be paid back. So people are like, oh my God, it's the future king of England. Okay. You know, English people, they're always trying to buy favor. We're going to get to David Beckham in a second. They're like, okay. Carol sold the company without telling anybody that she had promised her guarantee. Then when the company wasn't doing well, because it wasn't doing well when she sold it, that's why she sold it. For people to say that it was thriving after the pandemic, it's a GD lie. Nothing was thriving after the pandemic. Nothing, right? Especially parties. Parties for what? They're social distancing. Literally, unless you got that some walkie-talkies in that party pack, where is it going? So anyway, then they bought her back in a little later and they were like, can you just come on as an advisory board? Now, mind you, Carol didn't do that for free. She got paid money, but the reason they bought her on as advisory is because Carol then went out and took meetings with people and secured more funding and led people to believe that she was still the owner, even though she wasn't. What she did was shameful. What she did was a grift. What she did was stupid. And I think that encompasses the family that Kate Middleton came from. It's funny that Dorinda doesn't do anything but go to charities, help others, do yoga, and live a quiet life, and she's always dragged. Carol Middleton's mom literally tried to do a Bernie Madoff, a Berkshire Bernie Madoff, and they're not doing anything but giving her sympathy. Baby, please, right? But get this, she said, Carol was like a lifeboat and a force of personality, but it was too late. It was, but why were you getting more money? In my view, all she was guilty of was trying to retire. Everyone thinks she came out of it with a big fat check, but quite the opposite is true. She came out of it with nothing. People expect her and her family to fit the bill, but they haven't got the kind of money people think they have. Now that's a drag, but even by your own admissions, if you came out of selling your company with nothing, then how was it a thriving company? I'm just curious. How do you, like, it's like the British media just said stuff and they're hoping people just don't pay attention. The real shame is, how come William hasn't bailed them out yet? Again, because William has to eating out of the palm of his hand, literally for their daily bread. Listen, again, it's BS. It's what the British media does. Let's get into, David Beckham. Now, if you guys don't know, David Beckham and Victoria Beckham have always, they've always struck me as social climbers. And listen to me, there's nothing wrong with being a social climber. Do you? But the fact that it's so obvious that they traded their friendship with Harry and Meghan and tried to find a problem with Harry and Meghan, also they can become cozying up to the Windsors, and it looks like it worked. Again, Charles is sending a message to everyone that if you shun Harry and Meghan, there will be a warm place in the British monarchy for you. If Victoria Beckham winds up on the cover of Vogue, I will faint. Anyway, right? They're saying that sources close to David Beckham say that he's hoping for an honor such as a knighthood. Okay, he was awarded an OBE back in, what is an OBE? Back in June 2023 for services to football. More recently, in 2017, his wife Victoria received the same honor for her contribution to fashion. David's chances of being knighted were previously blighted after he was one of 1,000 people caught up in a scandal involving ingenious films, including former teammate Wayne Rooney, who all lost their case to overturn a $700 million bill of avoided tax in 2017. Of course, they're tax cheats. Of course. It's possible that David will meet King Charles at the foundation's base, Dumfries House, in East Ayrshire, Scotland. A source suggested the meeting would be an opportunity for the king to suss out Mr. Beckham to find out what other areas they could work together. You guys, listen. David's already accepted the invitation from the king to attend the dinner. After severing ties with Prince Harry, the former English star is dining with Charles to talk about the possibility of him becoming an ambassador for the Prince's Foundation, a charity founded by the king in order to help provide skills to young people. David has previously held a similar role representing Invictus Games, a multi-sport competition for sick and injured, whatever, that's Harry stuff, you know what that is. But David has since distanced himself from the Duke of Sussex after he and wife Meghan relocated to the US. Listen, let me just say this, right? It is what it is. I am just saying this. For any friendships between famous people, never put too much on it. It's always social climbing. It's always trying to finagle. It is nothing true. But to judge Harry and Meghan about a friendship that Harry was fine to keep on, how is that Harry and Meghan's fault? If anything, why aren't they asking David Beckham why he stopped messing with Harry? Oh, I remember why, right? They're saying that Harry accused David and Victoria of selling stories to them, to the paper. Now, let me just say this. I don't think that David and Victoria were selling stories to the tabloids because they hate tabloids. I think that Harry needs to look at what his family has accused others around him of doing. Do you know what I do think happened? I think that David was sharing information with people in the royal household about Harry, and those people shared it to the newspaper. The same way that the royals are worried that if Eugene or anybody around them talks to Harry, that their information is going to end up in the papers. You guys, listen, this is a house of cards. This is a shame. This is a travesty. But you know what? It's exactly what they deserve. Y'all, listen, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.